This is Sway.
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 In the morning.
In the morning.
In the morning.
Shade 45.
Wake your punk ass up. That crust out your eyes.
Sway in the morning, Shade 45, TV guide named Seinfeld, the greatest television program of all time. And we have one of the most admired characters from that, George Costanza is here, the one and only Jason Alexander. Woo! Should be the other way around though, right? Yeah. Jason Alexander, a.k.a. George Costanza is here, right? Okay.
I actually had a guy say on the telephone, hey man, George Costanza's here, a.k.a. George Costanza. I said, he doesn't know what a.k.a. means.
Okay, right? All right, man. Man, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Man, and you look great.
You're very kind, and it's very early. So you're not seeing clearly. You're not seeing the flaws.
What flaws, man?
Oh
you
my
are
God!
Who you are, man.
Gut is. I'm draping the gut with the shirt. The gut is hanging over the belt.
I do that black T-shirt. So
you bet. It's great camouflage.
You're a gut guy too.
Oh please.
Yeah, gut
the only thing tucked into my pants is my testicles.
Caitlyn Jenner style.
Wow, Caitlyn Jenner style.
Caitlyn Jenner style.
Wow. Pretty good.
Well,
man.
and good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Yo, so Jason, that's Heather. I'm Sway. That's Heather. That's Tracy.
Now, is that your God-given name, Sway?
Sway, yeah. God.
No kidding.
Black Menace guy.
God yeah. All right.
I wanted to do something here. I want to offer you some chips while we do this interview.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
First time ever.
This is actually my first food of the day.
The chips on the table, though?
Yeah,
wow.
For a reason, man. It's for a reason here.
Okay. It can't be these pretzels are making me thirsty because that's pretzels.
No, don't eat that. Don't eat that.
Don't eat it. Okay.
You're going to need these chips.
Am I betting? Are we playing cards?
We're about to play poker while we do the interview.
All right, my friend. Okay.
Okay.
What's your game?
No limit.
No limit.
Yeah.
Texas Hold'em?
Texas Hold'em.
All right.
Okay.
I'm in.
Jason
Just two of us? Heads up?
Well, they don't play, man.
Like
yes. Come on. You ain't
Heads
seen
up.
Poker, a World Series. He played in the
I didn't
World
know that.
Yeah, I never won it.
Yeah, man.
Anybody can play it.
Anybody,
but,
okay.
Now Jason is actually here for the Broadway play Fish in the Dark.
Yeah.
Right? And
right.
And this was actually written by Larry David.
And starring.
Larry David.
Yeah.
But he's no longer. You're taking over.
He couldn't take it.
He couldn't take
He
it.
was too weak. He was too weak.
All right.
He just couldn't handle it.
He
That's
couldn't
true.
handle it. I'm gonna build these 3 cards.
All right.
There. Okay. Now those are your chips.
Yeah.
So you can. So you can bet. Okay. So go ahead, place a bet. There,
Well, I'd have to check. At
You
this
gonna
point.
check?
Yeah, I'd have to check. You got muscle? You got some muscle?
No, I got. I'll check too.
Okay.
I'll check too. Okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, now I got a pair of jacks. I don't know what you got.
got- okay.
Because there's 2 jacks out on the flop.
I
there.
saw that. You gonna check again?
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check
Okay, I'm
again.
gonna bet 3 chips right here.
I fold
You
like a
fold just
little
like that?
willy that I am. Yeah.
So I lost?
No, I won, Tracy.
okay.
Of course. And you know what? I guarantee you got me beat.
I guarantee you I don't.
Yeah, you do.
I do. Oh, damn, I have
Damn.
to beat. Yo, I just beat Jason Alexander in the
Yeah.
hand of poker.
But
All
I'm
right.
a big enough man to fold when I don't have it.
You don't have, right?
That's right.
Okay.
That's the game. Get out when you don't have
gotta
it.
get out. See, that's what I had to learn the hard way.
Can't
man.
have ego about
You
that.
can't have ego
It's
about
not a character flaw that you dealt me badly. It's
Yeah.
not my fault.
It's not your fault, right?
And
All
look,
right.
now he's throwing cards
I'm
on the
throwing
floor.
cards at you,
Man's
man.
cheating already.
All right, this is pretty fun, man. I can say that's my claim to fame. The interview is done, dog.
That's right. Listen, this is the best time I'm going to have on radio all day.
We brought him in and welcomed him to the hood. He's from Newark, New Jersey. I was telling him
That's
I'm from
right.
Jersey City. I gave him a straight stunting magazine with some girls on the cover. Becca
Yeah,
Bacon.
Becca and Dream Girl.
Yeah, you like? It's pretty-
What's not to like?
So we got that popping for
Yeah.
Jason right here. We
Boom.
started
Wait,
talking.
who's on the back?
Oh yeah, it's a different girl on the back. That's
Oh, my
Jazzy
God.
Bell.
Good Lord Almighty.
Yeah, she got the boots
she's
and everything.
corn-fed
Look
right
how
there.
look how people come in all shapes and
Inside.
sizes.
So tell us about this Broadway play, because people were lined up like at
Yeah.
7 a.m.
I
this
saw
morning.
as I passed it. It's across the street, basically. I saw the line already.
Yeah.
It's funny. That's what it is. It's funny. If you like Larry's stuff, if you like Curb, if you like Seinfeld, that's what he writes. And this is
This is pretty.
this is a big old laugh fest about what is funnier than a guy dying and then the funeral and all that stuff. Funny stuff.
You play a guy named Norman.
Norman Drexel,
Okay.
and not wildly dissimilar from George Costanza or Larry's character on Curb. And it's about the patriarch of this family dies, and then the family's dealing with all the aftermath, and it's stupid. It's stupid fun.
Stupid
Yeah.
fun. So Broadway, I mean, you know, Broadway, TV, film. What is the biggest challenge, or does it all fall under the same?
Well, for me, the biggest challenge is always anything live because you can't screw it up.
Okay.
You know, if you screw it up in front of a camera, you go, I screwed that up. Let's do it again.
Yeah.
With the audience there, you know, once you break the illusion, it's broken. So you got to get it right. Everybody's got to be working as a team. You know, anybody on stage or backstage could make it go wrong. So when it goes right, it's really thrilling, and it's like kind of like walking the tightrope. And I like it.
You like it?
There's a lot of people. There are a lot of great actors that would rather never bump into that. I've always been. I started on stage, and I'm happy to do it.
You know, we had Rita Wilson come by. Yeah, and then she was in the play, and I know she had to leave.
She's going to finish it out with Larry, so she's staying with him. But the fact, you know, you guys know she had a double mastectomy recently.
Yeah.
And within a month, she was back in that show. So she's Wonder Woman.
Oh, she came back in a month?
Ooh. She's Wonder Woman. I mean, I know people that have had that surgery. They can't lift their arms. She's doing 8 shows a week. I don't know how she's doing it.
Have you ever heard her son's music? You know, her son's a rapper.
Yeah.
She told me this just the other day. I have to say, I have not been privy. Do you have a track?
Oh, nah, man. I mean, I'm not. Yeah, you know, this guy has been in the news for just defending the use of the N-word. So
really?
Yeah.
I'm assuming Rita's son has a complexion like mine.
Yeah,
Is that what happened?
he looks a lot like
And he's defending the use of the N-word.
Well,
I wish him luck with that.
I don't get it either, man. All right. I wish him luck too with that. Yeah. With whatever neighborhood he performs in. You know,
exactly.
You know,
that's on any given day, he might disabuse himself of that idea very quickly.
I hope so, right? Jason Alexander is here. I just beat him in a hand of poker. If you want to talk with him, 888-742-3345.
This could only happen to you.
Jason Alexander is here. George Costanza, you know him from Seinfeld. You know him from so many different. Shallow Hal. You know. Shallow Hal was one of the funniest movies.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you know, there was so much controversy around that movie because people who had not seen it thought that we were going to really pick on heavy people. And that we were not going to be kind. And actually, the movie is about you love somebody because you love them for what's on the inside, not necessarily on the outside. But it had to get through a little bit of a backlash initially, and then people really embraced it.
Over a movie. People take things way too seriously.
You know, you can't make somebody laugh without offending somebody.
That's true.
You know, if you're doing short jokes and you're short, you can get angry. If you're blonde and you do a blonde joke, you can get. I mean, somebody is always the thing you're being picked on. And I always say it is the intention of the guy telling the joke. If he wants to hurt you, it's going to hurt. And if he's got nothing on it, he's just trying to make you laugh, you can get away with just about anything.
So. Jason Alexander is here. We got Gerald from Florida on the line. Go ahead, Gerald.
Hey, Gerald.
Good morning.
Morning, how y'all doing?
Doing all right.
Man, I just want to say I love the show. And Jason, man, I love your acting, man. Y'all were just talking about Shallow Hal. I was wondering what it was like working with Jack Black.
Insanely funny. And not only with Jack Black, but the way the Farrelly brothers direct, there's always a good script, but they're standing right by the camera and they go, as you're shooting, they go, try this, try that, say this, say that. And with Jack, who's so spontaneously funny, we had a great time. And actually, everybody on that show was great. Gwyneth was great on that show, and great fun to do. But Jack is... The only thing I will say about Jack is he once told me, I don't know if it's still true, he loves doing the Tenacious D and the music stuff even more than the acting. If he could make it all work in music, I think he would give up the acting side to pursue that.
Just
he
be a rock
loves
star,
that.
right?
Yeah,
right?
loves it.
That's crazy. I wanted to ask to go back really quick. You're talking about the intention and what people could get away with.
Right.
I have a 2-part question. Was there any episode that you just didn't like? You know, kind of like it seemed like you guys were always having fun, but you kind of said we're not going to be able to get away with this one.
The only one that we ever, because you know, you start the week by reading a script at the table. We had one script. It's the only one we didn't shoot after it got read, and it was about Elaine getting a gun. There had been some violence in the neighborhood, and she got a gun. When a gun comes out, you got to be really funny. And that script just was too far away. It was poignant, it was interesting, it wasn't funny enough to merit we got a gun. I mean, there was a joke in it where she buys the gun and she's sitting in the car with Jerry and she's feeling the power of the gun for the first time. And she says to him, she starts pointing the gun at different parts of his body and says, all right, Jerry, where do you want it? The Kennedy, the McKinley? And you go, ooh. Wow. Wowee. So that one got put away. We did one that I personally had some problems with. I'm Jewish. I love. You can give me Jew jokes up and down, and up, it all makes me laugh.
Okay,
but we did one.
Rabbi, a Jew, and no, just
yeah, right. Come on, bring it up.
But
we did one that had the character of a moil. He's the guy that does the circumcision.
Yeah.
And initially, that character was written to be kind of a raging alcoholic and a real kind of miserable, child-hating guy. And I said, I'm not so comfortable with, because if of anything in Judaism, this whole circumcision thing is the thing that has a little bit of what are they doing, what's going on there. It seems kind of barbaric, and I thought, to make the guy that does it into a hateful character, not sure I want to do that. And they softened it as best they could, but that's probably not my favorite episode.
Not your favorite episode.
I was reading about you in the One Voice Initiative.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah.
And you're an advocate of Palestinians and people in Israel to find a way to function in harmony, right? Is that a popular stance in your community?
Well, in the
Jewish community,
in the Jewish community, it's torn. There's a real debate about it. One Voice has been around. I got involved with them in the early '90s, and that was when Israel was first reaching out to the PLO, was when Arafat was there, and what they had discovered through their research in the area was that most Israelis, most Palestinians were moderates, and they realized that the only viable solution to this was going to be two states, and they even kind of knew what each was going to have to give up in order to do it. And the assumption was that the reason it wasn't happening was a failure of leadership on both sides. So they were trying to get the people to take the agenda and more or less negotiate this for themselves. And I came aboard primarily because they didn't want me to stand up and take a side. They wanted me to bring some attention to it. If I went to Israel, then the Israeli press would go, "Oh, George is here. Let's listen to what the organization is." Over the years, I don't have to tell you, every day the situation in the Middle East changes to some degree. So it's very hard to keep. I can't even say with a surety at this point that the average Israeli or the average Palestinian does believe in a two-state solution. I'm not sure that is true anymore. I haven't been in that area. I think it's been 3 or 4 years since I've actually been to Israel or to Palestine. So I don't know how viable it is. But in the Jewish community in the United States, there are people who believe that as long as, for instance, Hamas is controlling Gaza, who says in their credo, we don't want Israel to exist, we want to push them into the ocean. How do you negotiate with that? And so they won't even start. They want, as a starting point, you have to say we have a right to exist. And Hamas is going, I'm not going to say that. All we know from our side is we don't have what we used to have. You guys are in our way. You took our, so everybody has a non-starter at this point. And some people can see beyond it, and some people can't.
You came out early on as a supporter of President Obama.
Yeah.
How do you feel like he's handled the situation over there? On a scale 1 through 10.
I think he's handled it as well as most people can. I don't envy. He's got a very challenging relationship with Netanyahu.
To say the least.
To say the least, yeah. And I understand that. Listen, I'll tell you this. Let me cut to the chase on Obama. I supported him on day one. If he could run for a third term, I'd go with him again. I think he is the right man for the right time. I think he never drew a breath that wasn't somebody barking up his neck this entire time. I am disgusted with what their mandate was, to merely give him a failed presidency. Screw the country, screw the people. People stood up on the right and said, we want him to fail. Well, for him to fail, we have to fail. And I think he's handled it with grace and dignity. And, there are no perfect men, there are no perfect presidents, but I think he's, for the most part, I think history will look back at him and say, this was an outstanding president.
Jason Alexander. Tracy's a big fan, too.
I am. And Jason, I'm going to be a little bit left field, but I feel like you'll understand me. But besides, your obvious talents, one of the things that's always gravitated towards me, to you, is the fact that you're very comfortable with the evolution of your hair. And there's a lot of men that have sat in that chair, and they have had weaves, they have had toupees.
Well, I've had that too.
Okay. One guy admitted to having hair plugs. So I want to see if you can talk about that, because a lot of guys, they don't embrace it.
I started losing my hair when I was 17. Wow. It started going when I was 17. And I was upset about it initially, but there was nothing you could do initially. I mean, most of the techniques that are there for changing it up now didn't exist. But I met my wife when I was 20, and we've been together 35 years. So once I put the ring on my finger, I went, well, she doesn't care, and I'm not going anywhere, so why should I care? In many ways, it helped my career because I could play older roles when I was a younger guy, and they were more interesting roles. But a couple of years ago, I'm sure you noticed, I started wearing a hairpiece publicly, and I did it, and I would talk about it. I'd say, no, it's a hairpiece. Let's not make no bones about it. And I was doing it because I started losing some roles. Because producers would say, he looks a lot like that George character from Seinfeld. And I go, really? You can't imagine me with a wig. You can't figure that out. You like me, but you're worried about the bald. So I started publicly just kind of shove it up their nose by going, hey, I don't have to. I can look like I have hair. And I did it for about a year or two, and it was fun. I had fun with it. I still have them. I do a stand-up comedy show with the hair. It's called An Evening with Jason Alexander and His Hair.
Genius.
But yeah, guys do get crazy about it. It's a thing. It's a real thing. In some ways, for a lot of guys, they feel like they're losing their masculinity when they start losing hair. But I never thought of myself as particularly masculine, so no great loss for me.
It works.
Jason Alexander is here. DB is here. He's a big fan of yours. He knows everything there is to know about you.
Oh, that's frightening.
But he came up with a game to see if you know about yourself.
I lose already, I promise you.
And it's called
Knowledge of Self.
All right, explain the game, DB.
All right, Jason, I know you're known for your television work and your stage work, but you have to guess what lines you said in these movies, okay?
Okay.
Ready. Number 1.
This is not home. This is a hotel room. Oh, that's Pretty Woman.
That was easy.
Yeah,
that's
good. Pretty Woman. All right.
Damn,
All
you
right.
got that.
Number 2.
This is red tape coming out of your ass. You know what I mean?
This is red tape coming out of your ass? Is that what I said?
Yep.
Red tape coming out of your ass. Well, it's either, I'm trying to think of when I would, it's either, it could be another clip from Pretty Woman, or I did a TV movie called Favorite Son.
Nope.
No. Okay. Okay. Was this a notable piece of...
It freaked me the hell out.
Really? It freaked you out. What could I have played that freaked you out?
This is red tape coming out of your ass. You know what I mean?
I say ass in almost all my work, so
it's Jacob's Ladder.
Oh, Jacob's Ladder!
How could you forget that?
Yes!
Jason.
Filmed, by the way, in the land of my birth, Newark, New Jersey.
Represent Jersey.
No wonder it freaked me out. All right, number 3.
I'm not going to pay some guy to dig in the dirt.
It's an easy one.
Oh, that's got to be Seinfeld.
No.
Come on!
Oh, my God.
Coneheads.
Yeah.
The lawnmower.
You know, I don't have the real range that I thought I had. That's what these all sound like one guy to me. So.
All right, you got to get number 4.
Okay.
That's journalism, my friend.
That sounds like Duckman to me.
Close. Blank Man.
Blank Man. Okay. All right.
All right, number 5, you got to get it.
Okay.
You are the luckiest man on the planet.
Oh, that's George Costanza.
Oh, my God.
Shallow Hal. We've been talking about it the whole time.
You know what that sound? That's like when I thought that was George talking to Kramer about the fantasy camp. He was going to go to fantasy camp.
Ah, man. Hey.
Oh man! Here's what we've learned. I suck as me.
Jason Alexander. Wow. If you're in the tri-state area, come check them out on Fish in the Dark at the Court Theater, 138 West 48th Street, right here in New York City. Get your tickets. Jay, man, it's a pleasure.
Thank you, Sway.
Great to meet you as well, all right?
It's Sway in the morning, only on Shade 45.